2. Welcome, everybody, to another live edition here on a Wednesday night of the Rock Pile. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. I got I shouldn't say I got a couple guests in here. I got 3 guests waiting for me in the green room to come on here in just a minute. Make sure to go to my Facebook profile, follow me on LinkedIn, follow me on YouTube. You can follow me on Instagram as well. I got 2 special guests that I'm going to bring on here. My cousins, Louie and Gia Ferrari, owners of LuGIa's Ice Cream and LDL Pools. And I can't have a broadcast without my sister. So what I'm going to do, this is the first time I've had 4 people on at once, but let me see if we can make this happen. So let's see if I can get you guys. Let's see here. Let's see. Let's see if I can get Gia. All right. I think I got you.
No way.
There it
I hear
is.
Shannon laughing.
Perfect. I do want to make sure I remind our listeners, though, if you have a comment or a question, you can put it in the comment box and I'll pull some comments up throughout the show. I know you guys are busy, so I want to make sure we can get through this as quickly as we can tonight. But first, thanks for coming on tonight, guys.
Thank you so much for asking us to be on.
No, you're welcome. Lou, I said earlier, it's not I don't have a delete button. So if you swear you're in good shape, I don't have a dump button.
Good, because
so you could say whatever you want tonight.
Anything.
So let me just get right to this for our listeners out there in our audience. Let's start, Louie. Let's start with yourself first. Why don't you give our listeners a quick overview of yourself?
I was born in Rochester, New York. I grew up in Spencerport. I went to Churchville, grammar school up to. I went to Aquinas for high school. Got out of high school and realized college wasn't for me. I wanted to get into the family business and start making some money and. Got in. My father taught me the ropes of the pool business, the ice cream business. I actually started with, we used to have a charbroil. So me and my best friend used to flip hamburgers, and I didn't like that. It was too hot, and I didn't like the food business. So I went into the pool business, and I've kind of been in this for, 25 years now, pretty much. So help out, with Gia, whatever she needs from me on her end, and that's about it.
And Gia, yours a little bit different because you went to St. Bonaventures, but tell everybody, because I think this is neat. What did you originally go to school for?
Oh, God. I wasted my parents' money. No, I went to school for sociology. I wanted to go for business, but I had to take the mandatory classes like the accounting 101 and 102, and I barely passed those. So I was like, maybe it's not my thing. So I ended up going into sociology. So I got my degree in that, and then I ended up, I personally don't think I use it. My parents tell me, oh, you use it at the windows when you socialize with all the customers. And I'm like, no, not really. But so, yeah, I ended up not really loving it. And I wanted to work for the family business.
And Lou, we talk about you a lot. I talk about you a lot on my Saturday morning show, but, people always say, Lou was a really good hockey player. And back this way, they always remember the Aquinas against New Hartford there, the state championship game. A lot of good players on that team.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Those were the good old days.
So let me ask you both a question. Did you guys think that years ago, when we were little, you guys lived at the store? You guys didn't have the ice cream store right away. It was more the pool store. Did you guys know, though, growing up, that this was going to be where you guys would be at today? Did you think your careers would end up like it is?
I did. I knew, I was never good in school. I got by, but, it wasn't for me. I always was, I don't know, I want to say a hustler. I always enjoyed making money, I guess. I watched my father hustle and, give us a good life and always provided for us, and when I got out of high school, he asked me, where do you want to go to school? And I looked at him and said, look, you could send me to school and I'm going to waste your money, but I'd rather come work for you and show me the ropes, and I'd like to make you money. And that's how I did it. There's some days where it's like, man, if I had some schooling, it would be different. But I learned everything.
You hear that?
I learned everything just from My father, and tell you the truth, my dad was good with letting me make mistakes. He would throw me to the wolves and I'd screw up and lose money here. And it was the best thing he did because I learned real quick that, when you lose money, it hurts. So other than that, man, I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to do this. I loved it. I love working with my parents. I love working with my sister, and we enjoy it. It's a lot of work and it's stressful, and we fight like cats and dogs. But at the end of the day, we always seem to sit down and eat dinner together. And what happens at work stays at work type deal. And it's tough. It's tough working for family. It is tough. But at the end of the day, there's nobody else that I'd like to do it with other than my family.
Now, Lou, talk to us a little bit about that too. I had Gia on mute, but she's back now. Talk to us. That's okay. Talk to us a little bit about the family piece, because now you guys both have kids and little ones that spend a lot of time like you guys did at the stores.
Yep.
And they're working hard too. So they see what it's like to get their hands dirty. Talk to us a little bit about what it's like having the kids there.
That's a little tricky. I mean, I personally like it. My sister, on the other hand, doesn't. I shouldn't say she doesn't want the kids up here, but we always kind of didn't want them up here. But they're getting older now. So like my son's 10 years old. He went with me today to a pool job. We put in a motor together. He was handing me tools, and I try to teach him like my father taught me. You work hard, you'll get what you want. You want to milk it, it's like anything sports. If you go out and give 100% every day, chances are everything's going to be all right. So that's kind of what we do for them. I mean, they're young and they want to eat ice cream and they want to screw around, like typical kids. But my son is, I like today I had even my nephew. I took my nephew and my son to another job to help the guys get a cover off. And I just try to teach them that you got to work hard, no matter if it's playing hockey, soccer, school work, just like we were taught.
Yep.
It's hard work pays off.
And Gia, how about yourself with your little ones too? I was saying to Louie, you guys grew up and were at the stores with, your mom and dad and spending a lot of late nights, probably eating dinner at the stores too. So what's that like for you having your kids with everybody?
You know, I don't know. The kids, you mean just like them coming up here and
Yeah.
stuff, or like whether
Yep.
I want them? Um, I want him to start like this year, especially Gemma. Gemma's 9, so I really want Gemma to like, Gio's still a little like little, I feel like, but Gemma, I want her to like start coming in here and like starting to. I don't even care if it's like stocking spoons or stocking napkins or just that was my plan this summer, except for what's going on now. So now I don't really want her in the room obviously right now, but I mean, I always go back and forth with my kids and whether I want them to do this or whether I want them not to do this because, as much as I love it, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of mental and physical stress. I know everyone always says, but you got the winters off. And it's like, yeah, we got the winters off. But from April to October, we work 7 days a week, 13, 14-hour days. I'm not kidding. And no weekends, no family vacations, no nothing. And so I think about that sometimes for my kids, and I say, God, do I want them to have this burden of this stress we go through? I like the cops just showed up at our store right now. Like, do I want this to happen? I don't know. So I go back and forth with what I want them to do, but I know it teaches them really good work ethic. Like this
Yep.
job, it teaches them to be hard workers, and so I don't know. I go back and forth. I think to start off, when they're young, I mean, I started when I was 12 years old. I was scooping ice cream in that room. So I definitely want them to do that, experience that. I hope their friends all get to work here too. And then we kind of see what happens from there.
So talk to us a little bit about too, you guys really, you started with the pool store. And then you guys, you had the ice cream store, and the ice cream store started as a little store, and now it's evolved into a really, really big store, successful one. So talk to us a little bit about the transition over the years from where it started to where the both businesses are now.
Go ahead, G.
I thought you were going to talk about the pool store.
Oh, we grew up in the pool business. It's 48 years this year. My grandfather, started it. He actually, a couple guys were falling out. They weren't going to make it. He bought it off them, and he turned it around. It was tough for my father because my grandfather was, not an easy person. He was pretty stern. I mean, at those, we used to be open from 8 to 8 every day, and my father would work them hours every day. I think because my father had such you know, I don't want to say hard, but work ethic hard and never got a chance to do anything. He tried to give us a little bit of break in life and say, hey, look, go summer vacation with your friends when we were little, because I think he knew what was going to happen when we got older. But the biggest thing is, we started with the pool business. And we had a couple little businesses here and there. My mother actually had a very successful Melinda Ceramics. She was in the
Yep.
ceramic business. We
Yep.
were little, and
Yep.
that was a great business. But the problem was we were really young, and it was tough for my father. And then she got bad asthma, so she got out of that business. And then he had a donut shop. He tried a couple things, and they never worked out. And then one of our good family friends owned a restaurant in Spencerport. It was just a diner, and the place burned down. He showed up, we would go there as kids every Friday for fish fry. I remember like it was yesterday, great guy, Macedonian guy, awesome guy. And the place burned down. He showed up and said, here's an ice cream machine. I think you guys should sell ice cream. My father's like, I don't know anything about ice cream. What are you talking about? We're in pools. I'm busy as it is. Listen, it'd go good. Talked him into it. He had 2 windows. The first year, I don't think he sold 2 ice cream cones. It rained the whole summer, freezing. It was just a bad summer. Second year, pretty much the same thing. Back in the day, there was nothing around us. We were kind of, even now, we're a destination. You don't just drive by, you're driving to us. There's no other businesses around us. And,
Yep.
on the next corner up, there is. But so, anyhow, finally we were going to lose ice cream pretty much. The ice cream wasn't selling, and ice cream does have a shelf life. So my mother actually said, give away bigger ice cream cones. I mean, get rid of the product. And I'll tell you, probably, my father would tell you better, but probably a month after that, it just started to take off. And then it went from 2 windows to 4 windows to 6 windows. And now we're at 8 windows. So the ice cream business just it blew up. But he always treated people fairly. That's the name of the game with my father, my mother, and even us. We'll do anything for anybody.
Yeah.
That's the type of people. I see my sister run that business, and if you've seen some of the things we do, you'd be like, how do you even make money? But the people that come here and say, wow, your sister actually took the time for a nut-free allergy that other kids can't ever go to an ice cream store and get, you can come here and do that. And it's all because of her. I'll give her credit. I mean, the thing she does for those people is amazing, but it all stems back to she's in her, I always yell at her, and we just talked about it the other day. Gia, we're not kids anymore. You can't get in there and scoop all the ice cream. You got to oversee. When this Corona hit and it just got out of control, we started an online business, and her job was to oversee. I walk in and she's scooping ice cream. I'm like, what are you doing? But that's why all our employees work the way they work, because we work right with them. There's
So,
no
so talk to us a little bit about even like through the years though, technology changes, social media happens, social media is getting bigger and bigger. You guys started the food trucks. Talk to us a little bit over the years. I mean, obviously, 10 years ago, we didn't have all this. So now it's much different. So talk to us a little bit about what's changed over the years.
I'll be honest with you. In our business, I mean, social media is crazy. I mean, we got 16,000 followers, and that part of the business is out of control. We put something on Facebook, and you'll have 70 comments in a minute. So it's
Yep.
it's a little overwhelming for us. But the way we run our business is the same way we
Yeah.
ran our business back when I first started. I mean, there's no change. I mean, we're all pencil and paper and
Yeah.
hand writing, and now our orders are, we got to order everything through the computer. But if it was up to me on the pool store, I'm still old school. I call my distributors. This is what I need. I don't write anything. It's all.
Even
You
our
know,
windows, like all of the windows at our store, like our windows are still cash only. Like we don't take credit cards at our windows, which is like really unheard of. Like everybody accepts cards, but we still are old fashioned that way. I mean, now with the online orders, if you order online, then obviously you're going to pay ahead and you're going to put it on a credit card. But if not, when you come up to that window, you're still going to have cash in that hand and pay the old fashioned way.
So talk to us both too, and Shannon, you can chime in because I know you're biting at the bit. You usually have to open your mouth.
Oh,
This is
gosh.
this is why I don't have Shannon on my radio show anymore because I don't get two words in.
She'll take it
But
over.
I want you to talk to us, Louie and Gia. Talk to us because every business, every team, every coach, we goes through struggles. You go through those hard days, hard times where you sit back and you say, do I want to go back and work the 8 to 5 office job Monday through Friday, no weekends, time off, all that type of stuff. Was there a time when each one of you guys might have sat down and said, you know what, maybe I should have went back and did that? Is there any times like that?
Yeah, we just talked about it today. We both wanted to quit.
Today was crazy.
Not joking.
No, but I mean, I know for me personally, I mean, I've definitely had my moments where, I got 7 ice cream trucks out at personal parties, and one of my ice cream trucks breaks down out at the event that they're on, and I'm going nuts, and I'm like, oh my God, I just want to be a normal person and just work 9 to 5. Like, I've definitely been there in a ton of situations.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there's nothing better than this. There's nothing better. I mean, see, okay. Gia had to leave like always. So
no, that's okay. I put her on mute.
So at the end of the day, like for me, my father had a massive heart attack 3 years ago. So me and my father, my sister, mother, obviously we work together, but me and my father show up here every day, usually between anywhere from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock, right? So that half hour before the madness starts, he grabs a coffee, I grab my pop, we sit out front, we just shoot the shit. It's like, hey, what's going on? And when he had his heart attack and he wasn't coming up here, it was devastating. It really was. It sucked. I was like, man, I don't want to do this. I only, not that I only do this because of them, but it's enjoyable to see your father and mother look at you at the end of the day and say, man, we raised you right. We taught you how to work. We taught you good morals, and you guys are doing a good job. I mean, that part is nice, but you get your butt kicked, man. I'm 40 years old, and I got here today at 7, and it's 8:18. I had 2 bananas and a street meat hot dog on the way to a job. I mean, that's life in the summer. I mean, it's sad to say, but we don't go on family vacations ever in the summer. Never. We've never been. Actually, 2 years ago, we rented a place on Canisius Lake for 4 days because I said, I don't think it's fair for our kids to not understand what like a cottage is or to go on a boat. I've been on 4 boats my entire life. I mean, It's you don't have that summer life, and my buddies, they all break them on me. Oh yeah, you got the winters off. It's like, understandable, but from April till October, it's sun up, sun down, 12 o'clock at night, the alarm comes out, you worked 13 hours. Guess what? You get up, you come here, it's a false alarm. It doesn't end. The freezers go down, an ice cream truck breaks, and Gia's got, she's a mother. So I look at it like anything more I can do to help her, I would do. I want her to be home with her kids. My wife, even though my wife works up here and, she realizes how hard it is now, she's still a mother. Every kid needs their mother. And Gia, she's been up here all day. And there's days where she doesn't even see her kids. And it's sad. It really is. But we just keep saying to ourselves, look what we're building for them. We started here and, we keep growing and it's awesome, but it's stressful. Some days it sucks and some days it's great. It's just like your job though. I mean, I don't care if you punch a clock or work for someone, it's tough all the way around. Right. Yep. I mean, that's it. It's people, I make my own rules, but at the end of the day, I'm in the mercy of employees and I'm in the mercy of customers. I hope to get paid for jobs. It's a lot of stress that, my father never showed us until we got older. And it's like, wow, I can't believe you did what you did by yourself. I mean, he had nobody, I mean, he had his workers, which was great, but we're lucky we got 4 people and great managers. I mean, we just got a great people here.
So my dad, he had to chime in. He says, hi, Lou and Gia.
Tell him we said hi.
And
I
then,
got my pool questions yet this year. I'm waiting for it.
I was just gonna say, I'm surprised he's not throwing out pool questions to you, Lou.
Yeah, right.
And then Shannon, Erica put on here, hey everyone, LuGIa's is some of the best ice cream I've ever had.
Very cool. Thank you.
Well, you know, it was funny, Lou, is my good friend Erica, who just chimed in. We went to the soccer tournament that you guys came to watch Michaela at. This was a couple of years ago, though, I believe it
I
was.
remember.
And I said, I go, you guys have got to go to my cousin's ice cream store because you haven't seen an ice cream until you go there. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah. Well, guess what? When Eric, her husband, got his ice cream cone that was this big, it was awesome. They really liked it. So
Yeah, and that's what it's about up here. I mean, we got long lines. I mean, it's a little crazy right now what's going on, but we got 7 lines wide all the way to the road, and there's all different kinds of people. You know what I mean? It's just crazy the clientele we get, and you'll sit in that line and watch people that would never talk to each other talking about ice cream and laughing and kids talking, and at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's more than ice cream here. It really is. I mean, a lot of other ice cream companies, they rely on their community. So if I had a place in Brockport, I would rely on Brockport. And we're from Spencerport, and we get people from. I had a lady that when we first opened came from Hamburg, Buffalo, and she was like, "I grew up here, and we come here every time you open." I mean, we get people from the east side, we get people from the lake, Syracuse. It's crazy the people that show up here to get ice cream, but it comes back to every kid at that window is happy, excited. Welcome to LuGIa's. What do you want? And then you get these ice cream cones, and these kids look up and they're like, "Oh my God, it's amazing." It really is. I mean, sometimes it makes you emotional because when this all went down, and we didn't know what was going on, and we tried it online and it was working. We decided to take some trucks and go street to street. That's not what we do. It's very hard for us to do that because we're actually making real hot foot sundaes. We're not giving you a Nutty Buddy, or we're not giving you a Slurpee. We're giving you a real hot foot sundae. And I dropped the kid off and I drove down the street, and there was kids lined up on each side of the road in lawn chairs
Hey,
giving us thumbs up, and it
Lou,
was it was awesome.
I had to put your dad put a
I
comment
saw.
up. I'm going to show you. He said, "Never do Rocky's show in the summer.
Yeah,
Get to work."
yeah. I wish I could show you the outside right now because I'm like, oh
You
my
would
God,
die
what
if
is
you
of
saw
all
the
the nights?
outside.
It hasn't. It's been snowing and it's got to be 85 tonight.
I know. Out of
But we
all
wouldn't
nights,
miss it for the world, buddy. We really wouldn't miss it.
no, I
This is pretty
appreciate it.
cool.
What would you guys, and I'll only stay a couple more minutes, but what would you
Fire
guys
away.
be doing today if you didn't have the ice cream store, you didn't have the pool store? What would you guys be doing in the real world? Or I guess the corporate world, let's put it that way. The Fortune 500 world. What would you guys be doing?
Oh, I would be working right at a gas station. That's what I want to do. I want to pump gas for people, not deal with it.
I was
Get me
gonna
a
say work
couple
at
bucks.
Target.
I'll be so happy. I tell my father, when this is all done, I'm going to work at the corner store. What do you want, buddy? I'll go pump your gas. I'll do whatever you want. But no, I mean, we love this. I mean, this is awesome.
Gia,
I
what
don't
about
know.
you?
That's such a good question. I feel like I'm a multitasker. Like I always have like a hundred different things going on in the course of my day, and I am very good at like multitasking and getting it done. So I don't know if I should be like an event coordinator or something.
I'll be honest.
No.
I'll be honest, and I'm not saying it because it's my sister. Normally, we fight like cats and dogs. She is one of the most impressive people I've ever seen
Thanks,
for
Lou.
what she has.
I don't hear that
And
often.
I'm not,
Thanks.
believe me, at the end of this, I'll kick her and walk right over her. But what she does is mind blowing. I deal with literally 8 employees, right? I mean, and then she deals with 48 employees that most of them are their first jobs.
Mm.
They don't even know what a time clock is, and she trains these kids to just kick butt. And that's really what it is. I mean, they are exhausted. They come out of here at night just filthy, ice cream everywhere, and she really is amazing. I got to give it to her.
So
So
something
you
to do with that.
so you guys have a lot of employees though that come back and work for you
We do.
each year, which says a lot because it's hard to find, good help, especially in the summer times. But I want to know, what would you guys tell some of the business owners that are just starting up? They say, you know what, I want to own my own business and get out there and not punch a time clock. What would be some good words of advice you guys would offer them?
One of my biggest thing is you got to be there. Like I know it's easy to not be, but like like I'm always here, or like, you know, Jess, who I've known my entire life, is like my right hand woman, and she's here. But you got to have people in place that trust, that care about your business just as much as your own. But like I said, we work every day. I know everything going on. I know every ice cream truck party that's booked, and we book thousands of them. I talk to customers on the phone. I mean, that personal relationship with people love, and you got to treat your staff like your family. I mean, I've had kids that literally have worked for me for 9 years. They have full-time jobs and they still work for me because of the atmosphere here and the way they love us. They love my family.
Yep.
And I think
Yep.
that's why we get the repeat, employees at year after year, and we get good kids, is because the way we treat them. And I think that's really appreciated. And people always say, like, with staff, like, staff, the help is terrible. And I never say that, because we don't have that here. I
Yeah.
mean, our staff, and I have 50 employees, and they're 16 to like 22, 23 years old. And I don't get it. I have a great staff, so, but definitely be there, and you got to treat your employees like family.
And one of the biggest things too is you got to make sure your spouse is on board. That's a very big
Yes,
thing that people don't
that's true.
realize. Like my wife, especially her husband Brian, they I don't think they realized what they were signing up for. It's all fine and dandy till you have a couple kids and the kids are stressful, and
Yes.
through all this, I leave at 7 and I get home at 9 o'clock at night, and I'll get home some nights and she just looks at me and I'm like, I'm sorry. And, we've been together so long now that she knows the deal, but it's tough. I mean, it's tough.
Well, Shannon's the same way because it's different, but luckily she's got my brother-in-law who is, she coaches. Shannon does field hockey all year
Yes.
round. And
Yeah.
Mike's fantastic at it, but I agree. You got to have your spouse has got to be on board. Shane, you got to be chomping at the bit. Go ahead and ask these guys a question so we can
Say something.
Well, I don't really have a question for them, but I just wanted to say, I think for me, it's been really neat to see how their business has evolved over all the course of the years. Obviously, growing up with you guys, from, watching your dad with the pool store, and then Louie join with the pool store, and then where the ice cream store started. And it seems like every year that we go back, I'm just in awe at how much it's grown. And, I know firsthand in watching you guys the amount of time that you guys spend, and it's hard. But the other thing is too, people come to your business, yes, for your ice cream because it's huge, but people also come to your business because it is so family centered,
Yes.
and your family is so kind and loving and
Yep.
giving, that is extremely important. Because I visited many businesses where that's just not the case, and it turns people away. And at your ice cream store, your pool store, they see how your parents are, they see how you guys are, they see how your employees are, and it just brings people to your businesses. And that says a lot about you guys, and watching your parents do the business, and then you guys taking over and doing the business. And now, like, I know, G, you touched on this, and Lou, your kids are seeing you guys and how you run the business. And not only are they seeing you guys run your business, but they're seeing you as people. And, you're going to help them develop a phenomenal work ethic,
Yeah.
which that's the most important thing,
It
because,
is.
that's what you need to do.
So I
That's the
think
biggest thing, and I feel like
Love you,
that these
Shan.
kids get a bad rap right now, and you hear all these kids, they don't work and they're on video games and they don't care. Well, I stop and I laugh because I'm like, we did that to them. We don't. Why are you taking a kid, and some of these kids? We got a kid that lives across the street. I don't personally know him. He started a YouTube channel, riding dirt bikes and all this stuff, right? The kid's knocking down big money right now. He's 20 something years old. And I laugh because it's like, wow, people our age are like, oh, he's stupid. No, he's not. He was smart. He took something that was in front of him and he grew it, right? I mean, that's my biggest thing. You can't give a kid an iPad and then tell him to go play outside. Well, he's enjoying the iPad. We're almost ruining the kids nowadays, and it's our own fault. It's not their fault. That's how I feel about it. But
So I think what's neat though is I think, Shannon talks about you guys have evolved over the years. You guys started with a couple of windows with the ice cream store to see where you're at now. Then you guys have the ice cream trucks now, which you guys have all over the place. And I think that's pretty neat. But I want to ask you guys down the road, because obviously every year something has to change, right? Something new comes about in different industries. Is there something down the road that you guys are thinking, well, you know what, in 2 or 3 years, we want it to be? I mean, how much bigger can you guys get with the ice cream store?
I
I
mean,
mean, have you guys thought about
I mean,
that? I
we're
mean, how much?
maxed out. I keep taking more of my brother, the pool store. Every year I take more and more of the pool store because this ice cream is just
Yep.
growing to a level
it's
you
yeah.
never thought would happen, But
So what we start, so our newest venture and what we really want to grow right now is it's called LuGIa's to go. So we got into, we've been making ice cream cakes forever, and they are not because they're ours, but
so
it's
good.
a great product. We
Yep.
have a phenomenal ice cream cake. We started ice cream cannolis. We started ice cream cupcakes. We have now we're really getting into pies. We got chocolate peanut butter pies. We just made a couple new ones today, mint tingling with Oreo pie and a banana cream pie. So, we really wanna blow this out of proportion the on the go. We're gonna start going to restaurants and letting them sell our inventory, and that's the biggest thing for us is we try to make a new business out of our business, if
Yep.
that makes sense. Like the store was great. Now we did the trucks. If you would have told me when we first started these trucks, I remember telling my dad, hey, I'm gonna build an ice cream truck. He looked at me, he goes, yeah, good luck. Well, guess what? I built an ice cream truck. I went to a good buddy of mine who we were buying some product from, and he helped me out. And I asked him, I said, hey, listen, could you teach me how to kind of just do a couple things? And he looked at me, and we were friends, and he said, no one ever showed me how to do it, Louis. And I left his place, and I'll never forget. I was driving down 490, and I said, I'm going to build an ice cream truck, and I'm going to build 100 of these things. The next thing you know, we got 14 ice cream trucks. We got one in Buffalo, one in North Carolina, and nobody, if you asked me, I would never have believed it, but hard work. I mean, it really was. Our first ice cream truck, I'll never forget. I got screwed by the electrician. He overcharged me. I got screwed by the guy setting it up. He overcharged me. I think I spent $30,000, 37,000 back then, right?
Yep.
And I got taken advantage of. Now I got it down to a science. It's still, the cost of everything is so expensive now. So you're still at that 30,000, but you're 20 years later, or they're 10 years later, and that's the biggest thing. And like I said, here's my thing. I just come up with all these ideas, and then I give it to Gia and say, okay, G, do it. And
That's how
he
it
does
goes
it.
though.
I mean,
He
that's
like
the
comes up
crazy
with
part,
the
but that's
ideas
what
and then I'll
makes
make the
us
ideas come to
work,
life. Like that's literally like that's why like even though we're very opposite, my brother and I feel like we make a really good team because again, he does. He has these insane ideas. His brain is always going, but we should do this and this and this. And then here we go, and then we take it, and then I'll say okay, and then I bring it to life. Like it's definitely a team effort.
So obviously, your dad put he's proud of everybody. He's proud of you guys and your mom and dad. They are, right? To see where you guys are at today and what you guys have done with the business. But Lou, let me ask you about the pool store because the ice cream store keeps getting bigger and you've been 48 years, you said, with the pool store. Have you thought about someday that maybe it's time to just put 110% into the ice cream and back off the pools? I mean, I it's got to cross your mind, right?
It's tough. The pool business is a doggy dog world. I mean, it's you have like perfect example. We've been sitting here since April. It's been snowing. It's been cold. It's right. All of a sudden, it's 80 degrees. I got 1,000 calls today. I need this. I need a liner. And it's like, why didn't you call me? I'm booked. I mean, here's the problem with the pool store. We don't advertise. We are really booked up the whole year. I can't even take on much more work for what we have. And we used to have crews, and I don't want to do that anymore. You're getting into, I got 3 crews. This truck broke. This guy forgot this. This kid showed up sick. It's too much. It really is. And now you're dealing with the internet. So now
Yep.
everybody can buy something on the internet cheaper,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
The problem with that is when you have a problem, where do you go? You're going to go back to the internet? No, they're not going to help you. So you come to the pool store. So now you come in, and where's Louie? Hey, how you doing? Hey, Lou, how you doing? Listen, I bought this on the internet because I saved $30, but now I need your help.
Yeah.
Touch the two wires together and see what happens. I mean, that's, what do I'm supposed to help you
Right.
after
Right.
you just sold me out for $30. It's tough, and actually last year I had to step away. I had to, I've been behind that counter like my father since I was, 21 years old. And I finally last year said, I got to go on service. I can't take the people anymore. And I know it's bad because we have great customers and we have great people. But when you get just, when you get bit by the dog every day, eventually you gotta hit the dog and say, "Don't bite me," and that's the hardest thing. The pool business is tough. It's a very tough business.
So I got to tell you guys both. My sister knows who Lance Cyrus is, but he says, "What's up, Rock and Shannon?" He's tuning in from Texas. So you guys are all the way out streaming in Texas.
That's
Man,
See
insane.
that?
who is that?
What up,
Hey, Lance,
Texas?
thanks for tuning in, bud. But what do you think your mom and dad would be most proud of you guys about? I know they're proud of you with everything,
I
but is
think
there?
that. Sorry to interrupt
No,
you.
go
I
ahead.
think no. I just think the biggest thing my parents love is me and my brother being like doing it together. Like I think they love like this on the go this curbside that we're running that's new this year. My parents couldn't come up here because of obviously the coronavirus and stuff. So it was literally my brother, me, and then my right hand girl Jess, and it was the three of us. And we worked like side by side. My brother never really has done that, like physically in the ice cream room. Like he's normally behind the scenes, like if a truck breaks down, I'll call Louie, and you know what I mean. But he never really is like in the room.
Yep.
And we ran this curbside, and he was standing outside in the pouring rain every single day. And you could just tell, like, my mom and dad, like, that's what makes them happy is us being together, us like getting along with each. Like, if we fight, they can't take it. I'll close this business
Yeah,
tomorrow.
I'll sell it tomorrow. I'll sell. You're not gonna sell anything,
So,
but
but
you're supposed to fight. I mean,
yeah,
that's
but
it's brother and sister. I mean, we killed each other our whole lives, but if somebody messes with her, you got to face me. You know what I mean? It's like I will, whatever. Like I always told my father, if it ever came down to the last $10, I'd give it to Gia, and I would go figure something out. And I'll take it to the grave with me. It's always been, no matter what happens, Dad, I will make sure she is all right. The kids, obviously, my wife, obviously, but I mean, I love her. I mean, she's my sister. She's been through a lot, and she gets her butt kicked every day, and I know she's tired. And at the end of the day, I just keep telling her, "You're just keep kicking ass. I mean, just keep doing what you're doing because you might not know it, but there's a lot of people that look at you and go, wow, that she's amazing at what she does,' and that's the truth.
But just
Well,
one more thing about my mom and dad, real quick, though, because I do want people to know that my mom and dad are just as involved now as they were
well, that was
all
going to
those
be
Oh
my
years
yeah.
next
ago.
question.
So I
Oh,
want
they
you guys
yeah.
to know that, like, my mom, she's in that office. She does all of our billing, all of our invoicing. She does all that stuff. If somebody cheats us out of 5 cents, she knows that 5 cents, and she'll get that 5 cents back. Like, so my mom is like here both of my parents, they're here every single day. My father, a couple of years ago, obviously you guys remember he had a massive heart attack, and he
Yep.
was 20 minutes away from not making it. And after that happened, we all were on the same page where he did have to step back, and he couldn't be here at 7 in the morning and here till 10 o'clock at night. He couldn't do it anymore. So now, he still comes every day, and it's wherever he needs to be. We always call him our gopher. Like he'll, hey, Daddy, we got to go to, we need you to go to Big M and get bananas. You got to go to the bank for me. Hey, Dad, you got to order. But he has step backs because we don't want him to deal with that physical stress anymore. Like we have that now. We'll take that on. It's our time now. But I just want everybody to know that, I mean, my parents they still work hard, and they're here every single day.
But they love it.
And
They
they
love it.
do.
Like when this all hit, and he when they couldn't come up here, it would kill
Tell them
my
what Dad
father.
did,
It
though.
was almost sad because he'd sit in the car like a lost
He
puppy.
did,
Like
guys, for
I
hours.
mean, I'm not even
For
joking. It's crazy.
hours.
He'd sit there and just look at me like, "Oh man, I wish I could help you." And it's like, Dad, relax, just sit in the car. But that's not him. That's not how we were raised. That's not us. He'll go until, honestly, I hate saying it, but
Yeah.
he's gonna drop dead here. I mean, he already did. He did on the stairs, and I was 2 minutes behind him, and I got a phone call, something's wrong with your father. I'm like, what do you mean? He's right in front of me. And I got out of my truck and I looked and I'm like, oh my God, he's having a heart attack. I didn't even know what a heart attack was, but I knew, and they rushed him there. And I'll tell you, it was horrible. I mean, it really was. I mean, I remember being at that hospital and sitting on a curb and talking to my good buddy Joe Gizzy, who I grew up with, and I'm like, my father's not going to make it, Joe. I'm telling you, he's bad. And I'm bawling and I'm crying. And I remember the doctor taking him in and I'm screaming at the doctor, don't put anything over his face. He's claustrophobic. Don't put, and
Yeah.
I remember that like it was yesterday, and then, he was in bad shape, but you're going to be all right. You're going to be fine. And now, he came up here today. He's got his bandana on. I yell at him. He says he causes more trouble, and I always look up and I'm like, what are you doing to me? He runs over the cones. He runs into the garage door. But one day you won't be here to do that, and I'm telling you, that's going to be the worst day of my life.
Yeah.
It really is. And I always talk about my dad, but my mother
Yes.
is the backbone of this place.
She is.
She is unbelievable what she does, and she will, like I always tell people, you can joke around and you can play games, but if you say something bad about me or my sister in front of my mom, you better just leave and probably never come back here again. Because she takes it to the grave. I mean, that's my mother, though. She will do anything for anybody. But you play games with her kids, and she is mean.
Well, I think Shannon and I would both say too, because everybody says, well, sports. My dad was athletic and a good athlete. My mom didn't really play sports.
Yeah.
But my mom's the backbone with us. I mean, my mom's been there for Shannon. I mean, she's put out fights at the table. I mean, and I don't think the moms get enough credit.
They don't.
That's why, and if we don't give her credit on here, we won't eat for a week. So I'm telling you, my mother. No, but it's true. I mean, she's unbelievable. She really is. I mean, for what she did all those years with us, and it really is amazing. And anybody in their own business, it's the same thing. Everybody works and works and works, and that's what it comes down to. You gotta do it no matter what.
Well, I say this all the time. We have some nice local family-owned ice cream places here that people, they go to. They're busy. But people around here have no clue what an ice cream place is until they come out and see yours. We got to get a truck in Rome.
I know. I
We're
tell
waiting.
Shannon,
We're ready.
man, after teaching, she
Shannon's
should
done,
get that
we're getting a truck.
Michaela,
We need Shannon.
run that ice cream
Well,
truck.
Lou, here's the funny thing. I say this all the time. With everything going on in this virus and, the governor talking about all of this lovely online learning, I did not sign up to be a teacher to teach online. And let me tell you something. If it continues to teach online, Shannon will open, because you guys know, I mean, growing up, I worked in a couple of different ice cream stores.
Yep.
One was Dairy Queen, and then here in Rome, and then the other one was Doozy's, which was a family-owned business out in Michigan. And I just have the biggest passion for that.
I know you always
Michaela says it all the time. She wishes that we lived in Rochester because she would love to work in the ice cream store.
Well, here's what we'll do. Michael's staying home in college for 2 years. My kids are 8 and 4, so my kids can help. Shannon, you run the ice cream store, and I'll do the business side of it for you.
There you go.
Yeah, you got it.
I'll never forget your father. We were, like we always do after hours, we put a folding table out in the pool store. We're eating dinner. That's what we do. People don't even realize it, but we're eating dinner, and we were busy, but we weren't busy, right? And he's like, man, I can't believe. And I said, Uncle Jerry, you give this place another half hour and you won't be able to pull in. And he looked at me, he's like, thinking in his head, okay, a half hour you couldn't pull in here. He goes, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. I don't even understand. He talked about it still. He was just amazed, And it's like, you almost need a traffic person outside. But at the end of the day, they find a spot, they get an ice cream.
I mean,
happy.
It's so cool to see it. It's so cool on a Sunday night when there's 7 lines to that road and people are all over this property, kids running around, the cars, it's definitely something like everybody needs to experience. It's unbelievable.
So I just took Shannon off for a minute, but Shannon, I can see you in the green room here. I don't have you on the screen. I got the family picture up, Lou, of you guys and your mom and dad. And What's the plaque? What was the award? I can't remember what that plaque was. I wanted to put it on the screen.
That was for Rochester Rock. So that
Yep.
was Channel 10 did best ice cream place in Rochester, and we it was all online voting. I think that was one of the first times they did it, and we ended up winning it, and it was pretty cool. We that was kind of when Facebook was going, and we reached out to our customers and said, hey, look, vote, and we were, I think Abbott's was beating us right up to the last,
It was, yeah.
hour, and then all of a sudden we just went through, and it was cool. It was like our first really award we won, and I know it sounds kind of crazy because it's Rochester Rocks, but to us it
everything.
was cool. I mean, right here, there's the plaque for it right there. It's still one of those things that we still, I walk in here every day in this new office we built that is too nice for us, really. I mean, I almost want to put a hole in it so it could be like
We
a
already ruined
Ferrari
it.
thing, but it's cool, and then my parents got recognized last year, and they brought us downtown and in front of, oh my God, a bunch of people, and pretty much saying that, what we did for the community was awesome. And that's the thing with us, these kids that come here and they smile and they're happy, and the parents that come here and the same thing, they look at these kids and they're so happy. To us, that's what it's about, especially what's going on right now. To put a smile on a kid's face to us is more than anything. They don't have sports. They don't have nothing's normal. I heard a guy, it's like summer vacay. I don't know what summer vacay your kids are on, but my kids can't even see the neighbor right now. We won't even let them, talk. To me, that's horrible. And Shannon, going back to teaching online, when you, and I won't get into it because it drives me crazy, but you went to school to talk to people, I don't want to say goof around, but goof around, get in trouble. That was school to me. Not, I mean, learning's learning, but it's bull crap. It is. I mean, especially someone who you are. You love what you do, Shan. You love it. I see it, the posts and the people that reach out to you. To me, is amazing. It really is. But you love what you do. You cherish. That's why these kids, I see like kids graduate and they still take a picture with you, and it's like that's what it's about. It's not about the money. It's not about the fame. It's about just changing one person's life, right?
You know what's cool is not even just Shannon, but like, I mean, my dad is older, but Shannon and I always joke because when we go places, people still, they say coach, and my dad coached guys that are 40s and 50s that still call my dad coach. And people say coach, Shannon will do a double take, and athletes always remember all of us. But to have somebody still call you that, and like you guys, people come to your stores because of that bond, that relationship. So I got two last questions, and I'll let you guys get going because I kept you longer than I thought. But number one, this whole COVID thing, has it impacted you guys like some of the other businesses? Because I know most of the businesses are takeout, but has it impacted you guys as bad?
Yeah, I mean it's bad. I mean it's not, we're like I said, we're fortunate where we draw people from all over the place. But at the end of the day, I tell my father all the time, we're doing burnouts in a car, but we're not going anywhere. You're working just extra hard. You're trying to keep everybody safe. You got people that really obey the law, and then you got people that don't care, and then you try to bring them all together, and this person's calling on this person, and all we're doing is selling ice cream. We want you to come here, forget about everything for a minute, get yourself an ice cream, sit in your car, enjoy it, put the radio up, and drive away into the sunset. Even if it's for a half hour, it'll make you feel better. It really will. I mean,
Well, I think
and the
people
biggest
feel
thing is the schoolwork. My wife, I'm not home. And my wife, it was perfect example was 2 weeks ago. I walked in the house. It was 10 o'clock at night. I walk in. There's my son. There's my wife doing math homework. My wife looked like she was going to have a nervous breakdown. My son was over it, and I could tell, right? I looked at both of them and said, hey, listen, stop. Just stop. tell the teacher tomorrow that you're done. You're done for a minute. You're done. We're not going to let this math homework that doesn't even make sense to me. And we've been in business and I know what 5 plus 5 is, right? Because I count money and I know what it is. We're not going to ruin everything that's going on and put more stress because of this. And she reached out. My wife was like, you know what? You're right. She reached out to the teacher and said, Mrs. Barlin, we love you. We'll do anything you tell you. We want the best for our son, but we're done with math homework. She wrote us an email saying, I totally understand. And can we try something different with your son? Now, my son's like me. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed. I'll get it. But he's got drive that nobody, will take away from the kid. And he's 10 years old. But she wrote us back and said, you know what? I want him to bake. Can he bake? Yeah, we can bake. No problem. We're going to make muffins and the flour and the sugar and everything put together. And he's been doing it. He still struggles with it, but it's at least enjoyable for him. So in my head, it's, everybody needs schooling, but at the end of the day, I think a lot of the stress in these households right now is because of teaching your kids that we never signed up to teach, right? I mean, I was never a teacher. My wife wasn't a teacher, and it's big for us, So that was the biggest thing in our lives,
Lou,
And
I
I
thought,
respect every teacher. We have more respect for the teachers at this point because what they do on a daily basis is, I don't know how they do it. I'd be fired the first day.
Lou, when I used to have Shannon come on my radio show on Saturdays, the big joke was who would get the last word in because Shannon talked the whole entire 2 hours on my radio show. I got the perfect gig for you at night. You get your own podcast, radio show, and we call it Every Day with Lou.
I was just gonna say, now, not for nothing, Lou has me beat because poor G is over there.
I'm like, I
trying
want
to
to
talk,
actually
I
answer
can
the
see her mouth.
question. I want to answer the question.
Lou, you got it, man. You and I are going to do a remote show weekly, Every Day with Lou and Rock. You got my sister.
When's the beer start? We need to start drinking beer, and then we'll spruce this thing right up.
Oh, man. Gia, go ahead, because then I'll let you guys get going. I want to ask you one more thing, but go ahead.
No, I just was going to say, you asked about like if it was hurting our business and stuff, but I feel like people feel a sense of normalcy. People feel, they just feel normal when they're coming here. The only thing that I feel like that's hurting us right now is because of the 6 feet and the social distancing. Like we're used to running like 7 windows right now, seven windows, where right now I'm running 3 windows because I got to do like every other window. So it's like going from 7 to 3, the lines are moving a lot slower. And we're so used to like, you take an order. If somebody's finishing the last item of that order, they step aside, you help the next person. And that's how we cruise through those lines. Well, now you got to sit there. If there's a family of 10, you got to serve every single person in that family of 10. They got to leave. Then you take the next order. So I just feel like everything is just moving so much slower right now. So we're not getting through the people, and then people are driving by, they're seeing the lines, they're like, I'm not waiting in those, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's what's kind of hurting us a little bit right now. The only thing that I said that's great is
any little thing
people want to get out of their house. So and where they want to come, they want to come to LuGIas.
No, but anything they can get mad about, they're getting mad about. It's like,
yes.
Look, we don't want to run our business like this. We want you to be normal, but what do we do? And people, and it's like that for all the businesses right now.
It is.
People are like, they're just so rude and mean, and they got to step back and say, these are kids. We have families. Everyone's going above and beyond.
And everyone's doing the best they can.
Just relax, calm down. We're going to all get through this. We're going to be fine. We just got to be a little bit more compassionate to each other. I think that's the biggest thing. And, like I had a guy parking in the middle of the parking lot. I tell him to move and he's flicking me off. And it's like, buddy, you're in the middle of, no, if it was me, I would have grabbed the tow motor and moved it myself. But, it's like, come on, man, just be nice, put a wave out there. And that's the biggest thing,
Shane, you got any last words?
Oh, God. Well, it was funny because I got to end with this. As I'm sitting here, I'm cracking up and I'm thinking to myself, here we are, all 4 grandkids. And I'm just thinking here as I sit and I'm looking at his picture, but like just how proud Pop and Nan will be.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
That's all they cared about.
Absolutely.
I
wish for a second he could just pop back and just, after what both of you are doing, what both of us are doing, and we ended up being good kids, I mean, realistically, we grown into good adults. And Shan, I tell everybody, I've never was in, after hockey, when I graduated, I didn't want nothing to do with anything. And, now 20 years later, here I am. My son's in hockey, and now I'm assistant, helping out coaching. And I look at, the wins you did in the section titles, and I tell everybody.
Oh, don't make her head
Rock,
any bigger.
Rock, I love you, but after Non's funeral, when everybody came in and they're like, Shannon, oh, hey, Rock,
Listen,
you won this one.
Lou, here's the thing. What I used to be well known around here. Now everybody says you're Shannon's brother.
Yeah, right.
That's what they were saying.
You can't take that away from her, though, Shan. What you did was amazing. It really is.
You know what the
And Rock,
difference
look
is,
at you,
though?
I mean, what you're doing is great, buddy.
Here's the difference. Shannon's a teacher and has been able to coach her whole life. I was never a teacher, so it was like my father. My father and I were never teachers, so it's hard for us to coach and work, the full-time jobs and all that. So it's kind of, our lives are completely. I miss it like hell. I mean, I'm coaching my son stuff, but I was once known as, hey, Rocky, you were a good athlete. Hey, you're Shannon's brother. Yep. Shannon's in the Hall of Fame, right? Yep, that's her. So
Someday, Rock.
But all right, well, listen,
but
that's all right. No, LuGI, I appreciate it, man. We're proud of you. We love you, and hopefully we can come down.
yeah, we love you guys. Thank you so much. This was fun. This was fun.
So cool.
Hopefully we'll be able to come down and visit.
Yeah, maybe 4th of July. Fingers
I
crossed you
know.
guys could come back down again.
Yep. No, that sounds good. I appreciate it. Love you guys, and take care.
Love
Be
you guys.
careful out there.
Thank you. Have a great night.
All right, guys.
Bye.
See ya.
We'll see you.
Bye.
So that was really cool. That was special. Thanks to my cousin Louie, my cousin Gia, my sister for coming on. And it was great. My sister said it right at the end. My grandparents would have been proud of all 4 of us. And I know my Aunt Melinda and Uncle Louie are proud of everybody. And they should be proud of their son and their daughter for carrying on the tradition and all that. So I kept them on longer than I thought. I know they're jam-packed, but I appreciate you both. Love you both. Make sure, again, follow me on Facebook. I'll share the playbacks. One of the new things I got, if you haven't seen it, I'm going to try to give you a view here if I can. My wife was kind enough to make me rock pile shirts. They're going like crazy. If you're interested, just message me on Facebook. I'll get them to you, and follow me on YouTube and all that. Next week on the rock pile, I'm going to talk to Lisa Briggs, owner and operator of Body by Fit out in Whitesboro. And then I'll talk to John Finch. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. Saturday, there will be no Mohawk Valley Sports Watch. The coach needs a break. I've been solo for 3 months, so I'm going to take a Saturday off and enjoy the nice weather. But thanks again, everybody, for tuning in tonight on the Rock Pile. I'll catch you again next week. I'm out.